Hello, welcome to my roaming sniper build video. The roaming sniper is a ranger build that is based on high damage, mobility, and still maintaining decent survivability. With these points in mind, I ended up mix and matching my gear so we could get the stats that I wanted for this build. We will have about 2100 power, which gives us the opportunity to burst down people in a short time, but also maintain 2700 armor, which is enough to mitigate a lot of the higher power damage. To make sure that we have enough crits, with food buffs we will have 55% crit chance with a 209% crit damage. Keep in mind this is in full exotic gears without a back piece included, so your stats will probably be even higher than what I have mentioned here. Now moving on to the traits, our build will be going 6 points in marksmanship. Both Read the Wind and Eagle Eye will be giving us the necessary increase of strength of our longbow, allowing us to snipe players from further away with increased shot speeds, which makes the arrows much harder to dodge. Now, Signet Mastery was an important choice to our setup. This is based on the utilities that we will be using, shortening the cooldowns on our signets by 20%. Originally, I was actually going to go for 4 points in skirmishing, but after testing, I found out that the extra point in skirmishing will give us an amazing damage boost of 10% as long as we flank our opponent. So make sure that you always try to hit your opponents from the side, so you can easily do this while you're using your stealth ability of your longbow to reposition yourself for that extra damage. The other minor traits are also quite strong in this line. They will give us both swiftness and fury buff whenever we swap weapons, which will allow us to set up for our burst with the increased crit chance or even a little bit more mobility to reposition ourselves. For the major trait especially, since our focus will be staying on the longbow, quick draw was a must to get our cooldown reduction for the longbow, allowing us to use our bow as a primary weapon without having to swap too often to our offhand. And for the final trait in this line, we will be going for Primal Reflexes. This gives us the opportunity to gain Vigor, which allows us to dodge more often with the extra 100% Endurance regeneration. Finally, for our final tree, we will go into Wilderness Survival for 3 points. The two minor traits will give us the much needed increase of survivability by increasing our passive Endurance regen by 25%, and we gain a 2-second protection on dodge, which is a 33% damage reduction. For our major trait, I picked Wilderness Knowledge, allowing me to use Lightning Reflexes more often as an extra evade. You can also use Shared Anguish if you feel that is better, which stops the first incoming disable but has a 90-second cooldown. And the reason why I don't like Shared Anguish myself is for the long cooldown, but also because it's not really controllable. It will only remove the first CC that you gain, but you can't really plan that out. Now with these traits, I chose the next utilities. Starting with the heal, I go for Troll Ungent. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one, which gives me the most out of my healing, but it's done over time. So if you feel like you need that insta healing instead of the heal over time, you can go for heal as one. This will heal you and your pet for 6.5k. It's pretty good. I usually don't have problems with keeping my pet alive, so the troll healing spell is more than enough for me. For our first utility, we take Lightning Reflexes. This ability removes immobilizes, breaks stun, and makes you dodge roll backwards while giving you 10 seconds worth of vigor. Also, during the dodge roll backwards, you'll be evading for most of the roll. I took this ability because in this build we want to stay as evasive as possible. Make sure we keep our max distance, so if anyone gets close or you get stunned, you can use this ability to quickly move yourself backwards and set up your next burst, or reposition yourself into a better place to maintain sniping distance. Now for the next utility, we have two choices. It really depends on yourself. You can go for the Signet of Renewal, which will give you a passive Condi Clear once every 10 seconds, or when activated, it will remove a stun and remove all Condis and transfer them to your pet. Now this skill can bug out quite often, so make sure that you swap your pet before activating this ability. Once your pet is near you, just activate the ability and it'll almost always go off. I don't think I've ever had an issue when swapping to another pet before activating this ability. This utility is a must when fighting Condi classes, even though if played smart you won't be needing it, since you can outrange and CC your opponents enough to keep the Condi pressure on a minimum. But if it happens that you do get hit by a Condi burst, this is your only protection against it. Now in World vs. World, I usually don't meet too many Condi-based classes or don't have many issues with them, and because of that, I decided in World vs. World to switch to Signet of Stone. This allows me to become immune to any power-based damage for 6 seconds. This is best used when fighting against bursty builds like Warriors, Thieves, or other Rangers. In SPP, I probably would always go for Signet of Renewal, unless I know for sure they don't have any Condi pressure in their team. For our final utility, we take Signet of the Wild. The passive grants us a small amount of health regen to ourselves and our pet. This is really nothing special. The reason why we took this utility is for what you can gain when activating it. For 8 seconds, we have 50% increased movement speed, 8 seconds worth of stability, and a 25% increase of damage. This will allow us to set ourselves up for bursting our opponent down with the increased damage. But if you're gonna do this, make sure that your opponent is on low enough health to finish him off. I usually activate it when in stealth, so I make sure that I use the longbow tree first, go in stealth, pop the Signet so my opponent doesn't see me popping the Signet, and then set up a knockback into a rapid shot. And I activate this around 40% health of my opponent. This ability is also amazing for safe stomping with stability. This way you can't get interrupted. I usually do this if I'm on very low health and I need to finish off my opponent really quickly, or if he has allies nearby that could interrupt me in the stomp. For the elite, I took Rampage as 1. This was actually a very hard choice for me. With the new Entangle, it's quite amazing, a 60-second cooldown and unblockable, but it's easily removed with Condition Clear. And the opponents that I usually have problems with are the ones that run a lot of Condi clears. That's why I decided not to take it. You can still take it if you feel it's better, but Rampage is 1, however, gives me the potential to do a lot more damage through our Fury uptime, but also give us the ability to stay mobile with the swiftness and uninterruptible with the 20 seconds worth of stability. In terms of weapon choices, the longbow will be our main weapon. Preferably we will not have to swap out of this weapon at all, allowing us to keep damage on our opponents from long distances, but with the utility of number 4 knockback to keep our enemies far away from us, and the number 3 ability, which allows us to stealth safely and relocate ourselves to continue our burst. The sigil choices for this weapon, I chose the Sigil of Generosity. This is chosen for our lack of Condi removal. The sigil transfers a condition from ourselves back to our foe with their own Condi damage. So if a Necromancer sends up 20 stacks of bleeding and our Sigil of Generosity procs it, they will get hurt by their own Condi damage stats, which is amazing pressure. I know this sigil is quite expensive in the auction house right now. I bought it for 50 gold myself. You can exchange this sigil to a Sigil of Fire. This way you will have a Sigil of Fire, and the second sigil will be our Sigil of Air. Sigil of Air was chosen because we're so focused on single target. We gain extra damage every 3 seconds. I think it does between 600 and 1000 damage on a single target. It's actually quite amazing extra bonus damage. Our offhand weapons will be Sword and Dagger. Both these weapons are chosen purely for mobility and evasion sake. This is our defensive weapon set. We're not supposed to do damage with this. It'll still deal somewhat decent damage, but I would only use it to kite our opponents and repositioning ourselves further away from our opponents. The number 3 and 4 of this weapon set will allow us to dodge. Both of them are evasions, and they also put poison on our enemies. Especially when you're fighting like warriors or guardians that heal quite a lot, you want to make sure that you hit these poisons to lower their healing abilities. If you're not certain that you're able to get yourself out of danger with longbow, that is the time when you should change to this weapon set. And after you've used the number 3 and 4 evades to make sure that you mitigated the damage from your opponent, you can now use the Sword Leap, which is the second ability. I will quickly show you an example on how it's done. Normally what would happen is the first time you use the skill, you would jump away from your target and then jump back to your target if you keep him selected. What we want to do is jump away from our target, then unselect the target to make sure that we don't jump back to him, turn around to the direction that we want to go to, and then use our ability again. This will allow us to leap further away from our opponent, making it a double leap. This is also really nicely for chasing down opponents that are very mobile. So if a warrior is trying to run away, you can also switch to the sword 2 and use this to chase them down with this set. Sigil choices for these weapons are the Sigil of Energy for the extra evasion, and the Sigil of Hydromancy. Since I use this as a very defensive weapon set and probably will only use it when an enemy is on top of us, the Hydromancy will chill our opponents, allowing us to get easier away from our opponent. Moving on to our pet choices, we will take the Jungle Spider. This is actually a pet I haven't used before. I fought with a ranger recently, which is Potato, a fellow streamer. I actually released a YouTube video of our duel against him with my engineer. It showed me actually how amazing this pet can be in terms of utility. The Jungle Spider is a range pet, which made it much harder for me to actually dodge that pet, since it will continuously put on pressure and not having to keep within melee distance like all the other pets. Also has really nice abilities that the pet will automatically activate. One of them is a poison, which is always good. Like for against any class, every class will always use a heal, and poison will lower the healing rate. These are just the minor bonuses from this pet though. The real reason why we actually chose this pet is for the immobilizers. It has 2 immobilizers, one on a 20-second cooldown, which will be activated by the pet randomly. This immobilize lasts for 3 seconds, and the second one is the pet ability that we can activate on a 45-second cooldown and also immobilizes for another 3 seconds. This is best used when setting up for bursts like rapid shot, so if a target gets immobilized, then use your rapid shot. You'll always be 100% certain that you will hit all the shots. And if needed, you can also use it to immobilize your opponent to disengage away from him and reposition yourself on a better location. For the second pet, this is one of the wolves. It's a melee pet with 2 very good passives, a 5-second cripple and on a 20-second cooldown, and a 2-second knockdown on a 40-second cooldown. As active ability, and this is the big reason why I chose it, is a fear. This is an AoE fear. It lasts for 2 seconds. You can use this to interrupt your opponents from abilities, setting up rapid shots. So you fear him, then activate your rapid shot while he's moving away from you. But you can also use it to stomp safely. For example, if your enemy has multiple allies trying to res him, the fear will then fear everyone away. Or even if you're good enough, you can fear somebody out of a stealth refuge and instantly giving them a stealth debuff. For the armor and weapon stats, I will put them in the description, so you'll have a link to the entire build with traits and everything all in the description, and you can check out the stats there. Also, I will be creating a video in the upcoming days on how to use this build effectively. Once this video is done, you will be able to click a link here on the top right somewhere. It will quickly link you to the strategy of this build. Thank you for watching. Make sure to go to my website, which will also be in the description. I will be posting all my video guides there. You can also drop any feedback or suggestions for new videos in the forum. Have a good day, and let me know what you think of this build.